This is me. If memory serves me correctly, this picture was taken during my senior year of high school. I look at this picture, and so much has happened since it was taken. I went to college, got married, had children, went to graduate school twice, and it changed jobs a bunch of times. I'm not real sure what the girl in this picture was thinking, but I'm confident that she had no clue what adventure was awaiting her. During the summer of my senior year, I decided that I was going to go to school out of state. There's nothing wrong with high school. It was fine. I just didn't want to be around the same people doing the same things. Don't get me wrong, there was nothing wrong with the people. I just didn't want to do the same things. That's still true about me. I don't even watch movies twice. So I set out to start my college career at an enormous school 2 states away. I don't even think I visited until after I'd accepted admission there. So I'm excited and I'm heading to school. And the first couple of weeks were exhilarating and exciting. I joined clubs, I met new people, I engaged in my classes. It was great. But after a few weeks, I got really homesick. And I'd been pretty vocal about going to school out of state. And when you're vocal and determined to go out of state and then you get homesick, it's kind of a hard thing to admit, but I was homesick. I missed my friends, I missed my family, I missed food, I missed all of the familiarity of being at home. And so I cave and I call my parents and I say, I'm gonna transfer. I gotta go home, I gotta get out of here. I wanna go back to where I belong, to where things make sense. And my parents, in all of their wisdom, said no. Now, I don't want you to tell them I think they're wise, but it was a very wise thing for them to say. And actually, they were nice about it. They said, you can transfer, but you have to remain in school until the end of your first year. You have to give it a whole year before you can transfer. We don't think it's a good idea for you to transfer in the middle of the school year. So transferring after a semester doesn't make any sense. So you stay the whole year, and then you can transfer to someplace closer to home. So, stuck anyway, I listen to them, and I don't transfer, obviously. I don't transfer for a few reasons. First, they're my parents, and I trust and love them, and so I believe there was some guidance in that. Also, I didn't have a job or a driver's license, so I couldn't technically get myself away from campus anyhow. So I was there anyway, and I just kind of continued to do the things that I had been doing, just kind of buying my time until the end of the semester, until the end of the school year. And something miraculous happened. The strangers that I met became friends, and the classes that I was in became differently engaging, a deeper understanding of what I was learning. And the place where I was just sleeping and keeping my belongings became home. The story that I tell you is really, really similar to the story today's college students face as well. Of course, there are some major differences between my experience as a student and the experience of current college students. First of all, there's an internet that works really well, that you don't have to use a phone to connect to. There are cell phones that are little computers that you can carry around. And of course, I didn't have to deal with a global pandemic like our first and second year students have to. And speaking of our first and second year students, it's really different for them. Our first year students are still trying to create home away from home. And our second year students, even if they've been here, find themselves now coming back to a school year that looks a little bit more normal after a year of very abnormal experiences. So it is a little bit different for them. I've had the privilege, pleasure, and the opportunity to serve in university housing my entire adult life. There is nothing I enjoy more about my work than seeing residence halls and apartments become homes and seeing strangers become friends and family. The COVID-19 pandemic threatened that. It upended the traditional experience that we know and love here at Miami and at campuses all over the world. In a matter of days, students were needing to move out of their homes on campus and back to their regular houses. And when we were all sort of back where we normally live, the health mandates dictated that we avoid each other. We couldn't see the people that we were used to seeing. We couldn't do the things that we were used to doing. And that difference really did change us. It was the antithesis of the community development we know and love on our college campus. Of course, now we know a little bit more about the COVID-19 pandemic, and we can use strategies to mitigate the transmission of the virus. And so we're engaging back in this world, but we're engaging a little differently. It's sort of like trying to remember steps to an old song. We're desperately holding on to the past while trying to forge a way to the future. This is a particularly challenging experience for our first and second year students. They are trying to understand what it means to be on a college campus, longing not only for life before the pandemic, but also trying to, like I did, figure out how do they create a home away from home. Brene Brown, in her book, Daring Greatly, talks about nostalgia. She says, nostalgia is also a dangerous form of comparison. Think about how often we compare our lives to a memory that nostalgia has so completely edited it never really existed. Boy, that quote really hits me hard, both as a warning and as a challenge. What if, as a warning, we think about it as our memories are false? Well, not exactly false, but just cleaned up a little bit, with the edges rounded out and awesome edits in very strategic places. It's not that it didn't exist, but it didn't quite exist as we remember. So it's good to recognize the past. It's good to reflect and think about the past. But it's also good not to long for it, because what we're remembering isn't exactly as accurate as we might recall. At Miami, we have this famous phrase, to think in such a place, I led such a life. This phrase is born and bred in nostalgia. It invites folks to reminisce about the old times, about the good old days. But of course we know that things aren't exactly as folks remember, because nostalgia is doing its thing, making it a little better than we recall. And now the challenge. What if we were able to live life in the present with the goal of feeling really good about it when the present becomes the past? What if we were able to think about how do we maximize the today so that the today is as good as it possibly can be, so that it's accurate, so nostalgia has less work to do. So the nostalgia isn't what is creating our memory, but our actual lived experience. What if we did that? I'm constantly reminding current Miami students that they actually still live in a place where they lead a life, that it's not nostalgic. People are reminiscing about their time at Miami all the time. But current Miami students, you live in a place where you lead a life. So go lead the life. Join student organizations, try new things, meet new people, do great things, live student life to the fullest, and make it worthy of the nostalgia that you'll reflect on in your later years. But this life you get to live isn't an easy life. It doesn't just happen. It's not magical. You have to work hard. You have to be intentional. You have to think about the kinds of things you want to do. It's important to remember that the days are long, but the years are short. I remember as a first-year student, I could not wait to get home for Christmas. I could not wait. And I remember thinking, 16 weeks, that is such a long time. So long between August and December. I'm never gonna make it. But as the familiar things started happening around me, as I got used to my classes and as I got a less fear of midterms and finals, and I made friends and did those things, the time of the semester started to speed up. And before I knew it, I was graduating. You live a life in such a place, so live the life. Maximize everything you can about this experience. Go do it. Go do this experience. But of course, every day isn't going to be easy. There might be midterms that don't go well, or an internship that you didn't get. Things are hard. Relationships that don't end like you want them to. All of those things can be hard. But there's no way through to the other side of the hard things except for through them. So if you have a difficult class, go to office hours, study harder, meet with the professor, participate in supplemental instruction, do whatever you can to get an understanding of what's going on in that class so you can get through the difficulty. If you have an issue with a friend or a roommate, talk to them about it, seek advice. Do whatever you need to do in order to resolve that issue. Don't avoid it. You've got to go through the hard to get to the other side. If you're not having the kind of experience you want, try new things. You cannot be afraid to try and do something new to get the outcome you want. The only way to the other side of hard is through the difficulty. There are so many experts on this campus, experts in business and technology, in education and music and literature and in so many things. There are so many experts. Make this time matter and get to know the experts on this campus. You can learn from students, from faculty, from staff. You can learn from campus visitors and local residents. You can learn in libraries and art museums and residence halls and classrooms. You can learn everywhere. There is so much knowledge here, and it's yours for the taking. So make the most of this experience. Maximize the long days and short years. Push through the hard to get to difficult things, and make sure that you are getting all of the knowledge that's here for your taking. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I want to make sure that you're maximizing it, but that is up to you. Your past starts today.